Hi guys, I'm Dr.RAYLEE. Let's talk about 7 foods that can potentially kill you. Now the purpose of this video is to bring to your consciousness how to handle these foods when you are buying, cooking or consuming them, because they can cause severe damage to your health and cause even death if not handled properly. And the first food is undercooked red kidney beans. Personally, I love red kidney beans above all the other types, and if you don't cook them long enough, you can potentially increase their toxicity by a factor of 5 times the more. And one antinutrient present in the beans that deserves special attention is what we call phytohemagglutinin, that is PHA. PHA is a special protein that binds sugars and is a very important component in plants' defense system. But in mammals, this protein can bind to the intestinal walls and cause the white blood cells and the red blood cells to come together, causing nausea, vomiting, cramping and diarrhea. And even a small amount of PHA can have a negative effect on your health. You may not consume enough of them to become noticeably slick, but continued exposure can result in poor growth, malnutrition or liver damage. So make sure you rinse them more than twice to get rid of all the dirt and the dust, and also to remove their contaminants, and soak them for at least 5 hours and then boil with salt at a higher temperature for at least 45 minutes. The salt speeds up the water absorption, also removes the sugars present in these beans for proper healthy cooking. The second food that can potentially kill you is green potatoes. Potatoes sometimes turn green, which may indicate high levels of a potentially toxic compound. And when you see the green pigment, it is a combination of chlorophyll and solanine. And solanine is poisonous and neurotoxic, so cut off the green part when you want to consume the potatoes. This compound called solanine is naturally present in potatoes as an alkaloid. It's very bitter and designed to protect the potatoes. And high consumption can lead to nausea, fever, migraine, internal bleeding, vomiting, paralysis, coma, and potentially kill you. The next food that can potentially kill you is nutmeg. You know, nutmeg is a popular spice that can give a person a high, similar to that of some of the hallucinogenic compounds or drugs if you consume too much of it. The name for this is called nutmeg intoxication, and a compound in nutmeg responsible for this intoxication is called myristicin. And the consumption of about 2 mg in weight can lead to fever and headache, and about 7.5 mg you could start losing consciousness. And if you consume a whole nutmeg, you could potentially get what we call nutmeg psychosis or nutmeg high. If you're going to consume it, just use a little of that, don't use a lot. You see, depending on the conditions of the growth or the state of the plant, a high quality nutmeg seed can contain about 30 mg of myristicin per 1 gram. And in severe cases, it can lead to seizures and organ damage. So if you are fond of consuming a whole nutmeg, kindly stop and just use enough to spice your food. Now be sure to give us a like so that this video can reach many people as possible, and also subscribe and hit the bell so you stay updated with us. Thank you and God bless you. The fourth food that can potentially kill you is brown rice. Recently, studies have shown that there's high levels of arsenic in rice, especially with brown rice. Now this is a major concern since rice is a staple food for a large part of the world's population. Arsenic is one of the world's most toxic compound or element, and rice accumulates more arsenic than other food crops. It is because a lot of the time the soils that are grown on used to be grown on cotton, which is heavily sprayed with arsenic. And the main sources of arsenic pollution include certain pesticides and herbicides, wood preservatives, phosphate fertilizers, industrial waste, mining activities, coal burning and smelting. So the soils have been contaminated, and that can absorb into certain plants, especially brown rice, causing arsenic poison. Now, some antidotes for arsenic poison include selenium and zinc that can potentially detoxify arsenic from your body. You see, high consumption of arsenic can lead to hypertension, heart diseases, type 2 diabetes, and cancer. So make sure you wash your rice more than once thoroughly. If possible, avoid rice that is grown during the dry season and eat less of that. The fifth food that can kill you is green raw almonds and cashew. They contain a certain amount of cyanide, and you're going to have to consume quite a few of them to be totally poisoned, like about 1,000 or 50 ounces of that, which definitely you're not going to do. But just let you know, if you consume small amounts, you're going to have some amount of cyanide in your system. So instead of buying the bitter almonds, get the sweet almonds or the roasted one which has no cyanide in them. Now the side effect of cyanide poisoning could be convulsion, respiratory failure, and death. And the antidote for cyanide poisoning is called hydroxycobalamin. So please avoid the green ones. The next food that can potentially kill you is called uncooked bloody hamburger. If you are buying a low quality meat from your local supermarket or store, you could be exposed to E. coli, and there's a very toxic form of E. coli which is called veritosygenic E. coli, and they come from the gut of these animals, and it can cause damage to your kidneys and cause sepsis, coma, and even cause death. So make sure that the quality of your meat is very high, and make sure it is very cooked properly to the point where all the E. coli are killed by the heat. And lastly, the food that can potentially kill you is cherry pits. Cherry pits contain amygdalin, which your body can turn into cyanide if the pit is crushed or chewed. And amygdalin is a cyanogenic glycoside, a chemical that your body converts into a toxic compound called hydrogen cyanide. And hydrogen cyanide interferes with oxygen transport and potentially damaging essential organs like your brain, your heart, and your lungs. And a red cherry pit is estimated to have about 3.9 mg of amygdalin per gram of the fruit, while the black cherry has about a slightly lower concentration at 2.3 gram or milligram per gram. Meanwhile, the morello cherry pit harbors an astonishing 65 mg per gram. So make sure you take away the pits before consumption. It is not a cause for concern if you or your child accidentally swallows just one or two of cherry pits, because swallowing a whole cherry pit does not cause toxicity but may pose a choking hazard for your young children and lead to colon obstruction. So chewing or swallowing more than a few of the pits can be dangerous, especially for your children. And some of the symptoms include acute headache, nausea, seizures, convulsions, and difficulty in breathing. So children should be taught to spit out these pits to avoid any associated risks. And if you suspect your child has swallowed or chewed any of the pits, keep an eye on them for adverse effects. But if symptoms occur, please call for the ambulance or call for the poison control unit. If you have a way of making them spit out or vomit them out, try that first and then call for help or send them to the hospital. So this is the end of our discussion. The 7 foods that can potentially kill you if not handled properly. If you found this video helpful, kindly give us a like, comment, and share this with all your loved ones. And always remember that God wants you healthy. Your health, your life.